naman to ng classmates nyo. Okay yan, good evening sa ating second synchronous session ng ating PSDT course. Salamat sa lahat ng pumunta. Very timely yung ating lesson today. It's Permaculture Design and Environmental Science. Last episode, si Sandino talked about perma and landscape architecture. And what in particular about environmental science I will talk about is tools and techniques for studying our environment. Ngayong itong lesson na ito, tinuturo ko to actually sa lahat ng grade levels ba, lahat ng ano, from my high school to the masters to the PhD, tinuturo ko to kasi I want to mainstream these tools. Ngayon, first time ko to ituturo sa PSDT. So you're the third batch. So share ko rin to sa ibang batches and I will teach you 4 tools today. Hindi tayo makakapag extensive tutorial pero you can contact me no if you need guidance sa mga tools na ituturo ko sa inyo. Okay, kasi even now, Sandino, yung mga batch 1, 2, nagko-consult pa rin sa akin, which is nakakatuwa kasi it means na nasusustain yung yung interest, okay? Sige, let's start. Okay. I want to share with you yung aking thought process and design process, no? When looking at a site na i-design. So in my case, I was given the project or the task to design yung perma garden sa UPOU. Because in 2022, October 2022, walang laman yung perma garden ng OU. Marami lang kaming talahib and that's it. And sabi ko it's a good blank canvas, no? Kasi kahit talahib lang yan, maraming mga resources around it eh. So, ang tip ko, do some immersion. Ibig sabihin, you go to the place, form a relationship, no? Some kind of bond with the place. Kilalanin nyo siya. And then, you just familiarize with yourself with the resources around it, the wildlife, the people going there, sino bang palaging nandun, start interviewing. In my case, in-interview ko yung gardener doon, si Ate Jane Sandino. Siya yung una kong in-interview. And then, I looked at some features and issues. Ang issues is, nagbabaha daw doon sa area na yon. And if it's possible daw na still convert it into a garden. So, I really spent time muna bago ako nag-drawing ng kung ano man. Okay, so I gathered as much information as I can. So, aside from just looking at your particular area, which we are doing sa ating FMAs right now, FMA 2, FMA 3, we're designing our property. But in addition to that, we have to look at the surrounding ecosystems and landscapes as well, no? So, when we do a permaculture design, we have to be aware na marami tayong mga landscapes na katabi. Okay, na hindi natin ma-design. We have to find a way to either protect ourselves from harmful landscapes or if it's useful for us to integrate our designs into those landscapes. Okay, so we either integrate no or create buffers if it's harmful. And makita nyo marami kayong natural features you want to integrate or sync yung inyong dinedesign doon sa existing na components or elements ng landscapes. Which leads us to the next step, yung integration, no? So our mindset should be to integrate our project designs into the larger landscape. So it doesn't matter if it's just a backyard or malaki, 3 hectares, 5 hectares yung inyong lupa or 200 square meters lang. Ang mindset natin palagi is paano ko i-integrate tong ginagawa ko sa larger context. Okay, and enhance existing connections and relationships between landscape components. So once we're finished observing and interacting, we're able to identify some elements sa landscape, So paano ko i-enhance yung mga existing na relationships? So for example, may na-observe kayo like sabi ni Ma'am Cora kanina, may mga birds na pumupunta sa kanya. Actually, the birds and yung mga batya na may tubig, those are two elements, no, that's forming a relationship. So that's one form of connectivity. So paano mo i-expand yung relationship na yun? Okay, so the birds usually they live in the trees. So it's another connection. So you find as many beneficial relationships within your area and the larger landscape. So just look for connections. Magbigay ako ng example, no? When I was designing the perma garden sa UPOU, I went to Google Earth, which I will teach to you later. And then tingnan ko, okay, nasan yung perma garden sa Los Baños? Ano yung mga katabi niya? So if you will see this slide, ang perma garden po ay nandito sa letter A. Yan, nandiyan na perma garden. And sabi ko, ang observation ko dito sa landscape is the landscape of Los Baños is very fragmented. Ibig sabihin, maraming bungi, no? At ang nag-cause ng mga bungi-bungi na yon ay yung practice natin ng agriculture. Okay? You follow? Marami tayong ano dito, rice fields, mostly experimental, some are for commercial production. And there's another layer to that kasi yung ating rice fields for production are being converted to residential or commercial areas. So, mas complex pa yon. The original design before humans, no, is very connected ang lowland ng Los Baños with Mount Makiling dito sa lower left side. This is Mount Makiling. And then marami tayong rivers or tributaries, no, going to Laguna Lake dito sa taas. Okay, in the north side. So marami. So the mountain, Mount Makiling and Laguna Lake is interconnected, no, by rivers, creeks, and the surrounding riparian ecosystem. Ibig sabihin yung mga forest na nasa gilid ng mga river natin. Ngayon, nakita ko itong mga riparian zones. It's still existing kasi that's where our water flows, no? From the headwaters dito sa bundok, pag umuulan, nagfo-flow dito sa creek, and then nagde-drain sa Laguna Lake. And then, I saw an opportunity na yung perma garden pala, pwede kami gumawa ng tree corridor or isang row ng trees na ko-connect dito sa Mount Makiling. So what's the use of this connection, no? Actually, this is not just a waterway or a passage for water. It's what we call a wildlife corridor. So this facilitates movement ng species. Okay, so we're giving species from the mountains access to the lake. Okay, so may mga habitats sa mga yan dyan eh. We're giving access. Right now, due to landscape fragmentation, nalilimit ang mobility ng ating mga wildlife. Okay, nalilimit sila. Hindi sila makagalaw. They're just being confined in small spaces. Eventually, if their habitats become too small, they will either leave or just die out. Okay? So yun yung tinatry nating i-avoid. So even though ang perma garden is very, very small, ang perma garden started just 200 square meters. Now it's 1,500 square meters, but that's still very small. Nakita namin na, okay, we can integrate ourselves to this tree corridor or wild corridor. So this is an example, no, of integrating yourself into the landscape or seeing your small projects sa larger picture. Now, sa observation naman, I look for natural features first, and then I look for waterlogged or flooded areas. Kaya gustong-gusto ko pag umuulan. We're going to La Nina, meaning it's going to be rainy in the next 2 months. After 2 months, magiging rainy. That's a good time to observe. Kasi when it rains, it gives us an idea kung ano yung shape ng ating lupa. No? Kung nasan yung mga mabababa, nasan yung matataas. And then, actually, nature will dictate to us, no, where water will gather. And where water gathers, there's life. And we design around those parang mga oasis, no? Kung saan nag-gather ang water. If you don't want water there, you can divert that water or that tawag dito, that passive energy somewhere else. At least you know saan nagagather yung tubig. And then the last one is I look for wildlife. Okay, so those are three na ginagamit ko as my technique. Look for natural features, look for waterlogged or flooded areas when it rains, then look for wildlife. Ako kasi doon sa mga chinekan ko, no, it's good na na may naghanap na mga birds. Kasi some of these birds are keystone species. Ang ibig sabihin nun is important sila sa ecosystem. If you take them out, no, magko-collapse yung ecosystem. So it's good na indicator yung mga birds, no, that they're still going there, there's still food in that area, no, meron pa tayong biodiversity. What's scary is kung wala na kayong bird sa area nyo. Ibig sabihin there's no more life in that area, that your area is dead. Okay, so very basic. Ito lang yung mga hinahanap natin. Now, to help you with those, i-share ko naman tong slide na to sa ating course site. I will give you an overview for the next few minutes, no, until mag-9. An overview of 4 tools that you can use. First is Hazard Hunter. Next is Google Earth and Google Earth Pro. Magkaiba yun. And then we have GPS Logger app. And then GeoNadir. Ano to? Pa-advanced ng pa-advanced. Okay, so I will just give you choices or options kasi if you're gonna practice permaculture for the long term, no, it helps then also to be technologically literate, no, kasi as climate change affects us, no, we need to be wise in our decisions and in our design. So kailangan natin unahan yung climate change. Okay, can you give me a show of hands kung sino na nakagamit ng any of the 4 apps na ito or tools? Sino na nakagamit? Ayun,
Google
Google
Earth
Earth.
lang.
Google Earth Pro po.
Google Earth Pro, okay. CLB, tas Google Earth. Okay,
Google
and
Earth lang din.
Google Earth. Online or Pro?
Pro. Pro po.
Pro, okay yan. So good na may background na kayo sa Pro kasi I think most of you, they use that sa assignment nyo, no? Yung Google Earth Pro. Okay, let's start with Hazard Hunter kasi I think this is the most important. This is a project ng, can you see me switch my tab? Okay, sige. Simulan natin sa landing page. Okay, when you type hazardhunter.georisk.gov.ph, ito yung landing page niya. Now, you can type here your address or not specifically your house, yung area nyo, subdivision or village or barangay. And then we will search. For our example, I will use yung UPOU. Okay, so I will type UP Open U University Headquarters. And may options din dito na use current location, use coordinates, or go to map view. So in our case right now, I type the address and then click search. Okay. So here's the UPOU headquarters and nasa map na ang FMDS Permaculture Garden, our school. Okay. So nandyan na siya pero dahil hindi updated yung satellite image, hindi pa kita yung features ng garden. Okay, so this is it. So we will do 2 things with Hazard Hunter. First of all, we need to do a risk assessment. Lahat ng hazards. So meteorological, yung mga ulan related to weather, and then volcanic eruptions, and also earthquakes. Okay, so earthquakes, volcano, typhoon, we will do a risk assessment. So how to do that? So zoom in and double click nyo yung inyong house or barangay. So for this example, I will double click the building. Okay. Now, Hazard Hunter will give you a assessment report. So you click see result. And then you will see dito sa right-hand corner, the assessment results. Okay, so first, yung ating seismic hazard assessment. So sabi dito, the nearest active fault is 22.4 kilometers east of the Valley Fault System, which is yung West Valley Fault natin. No? So medyo malayo. From ground rupture, it's safe. Ground shaking, it's prone. So it can go to a maximum of intensity 8. Earthquake-induced landslide, safe, wala. Liquefaction, yung pagiging matubig ng ilalim, least susceptible, so it doesn't, we won't worry about that. Tsunami is, wala, malayo to sa body of water. For volcano, ang nearest is yung 27.4 kilometers away is Mount Banahaw. Pyroclastic flow, safe. Nearest potentially active volcano is San Cristobal. No immediate volcanic hazard threat daw. Lahar, safe. Ashfall, prone. So this is important information kasi if ever yung mga volcanoes na malapit sa atin erupts, maapektuhan tayo ng ashfall. Okay, and then nearest inactive volcano, meron kaming volcano dito sa Los Baños. So hindi naman siya threat. For weather, rain-induced landslide, low susceptibility, storm surge is safe. Severe wind, it can reach 117 to 220 kilometers per hour for 20-year return period or 117.1 to 220 kilometers per hour average siya. Okay, and then ang maganda dito sa assessment, meron na tayong nearest critical facilities just in case you need to evacuate. Ngayon, itong report na to ay pwede siyang i-download at meron siyang recommendations. Okay, so you go to the lower right-hand corner and then click view report with recommendations. And sana lumabas siya dito. Actually, hindi lang siya useful for permaculture design, no? If someone is planning to buy a house or to move somewhere else, pwede kayo mag-send ng gintong report. So this is the PDF version, a summary of all the assessments. No? So maganda yung pagkaka-layout niya. May explanation na and recommendations, ganyan. Especially dun sa ating mga classmates no, na planning to buy a farm or a property in the future, pwede nyo munang tingnan yung assessment sa Hazard Hunter. Okay, so nandito yan. It's a very, very clean and easy to understand report. So you can download this. Okay, so if you don't want that, wag nyo lang siya i-click. Okay, so that's the first part, the assessment report. Also pala, aside from that, makikita nyo rin pala yung may line dyan, no? Makikita nyo kung saan malapit na volcanoes, like this blue line over here. This blue line over here indicates yung layo niya sa West Valley Fault. And another blue line indicates yung layo niya sa Mount Banahaw, which is also an active volcano. Okay? So kita niyo yung mga natural features natin. Okay, next to the on to the next function. If we go to the left-hand corner, we can see the monitoring tab over here, monitoring. So let's try to click that earthquake, for example. Ayan. Maganda to kasi meron tayong mga real-time reports ng earthquake. Make sure to turn off yung new EQ event alert. Turn it off. Kasi every time mag-earthquake sa Pilipinas ay tutunog yan. So baka mataranta kayo. Okay, so i-turn nyo yan off. But makikita nyo yung currently may nangyayari. So here, ibig sabihin nito ay may nag-earthquake dito, somewhere here. Latest earthquake event. Now, you can see the earthquake events depending on magnitude and depth in relation to our fault lines and trenches. Okay, so for you mga na taga Manila, you can see the West Valley Fault here. Okay, so giving you spatial awareness of the situation. Where are the current earthquakes happening? Ito, like this one, April 13. It's very detailed. So maganda tong ginawa ng DOST. Let's go to the volcano. This was especially useful nung pumutok ang Taal volcano. So you have all the alert levels here. Ina-update nila to, which is good. So just to give you context, no? And we have here typhoons also. So pag merong bagyo, ngayon wala naman, they will give you a cyclone track, no? Kung saan yung daan ng inyong bagyo. So maganda to, pag merong mga sakuna ay laging naka-on ng Hazard Hunter sa akin. Kasi maganda siyang monitoring tool. Let's try another one. Meron pa lang gustong i-share. Let's go to the display options and click hazards. And then when you click hazards, may lalabas na tatlo: seismic, volcanic, and hydrometeorological. So let's check this out first. When you click hydrometeorological, you will see the flood, rain-induced landslide, and storm surge. So rain-induced landslide, di kami maapektuhan yan. Storm surge, no. So flood, yes. When I click that, imo-model na ng Hazard Hunter saan yung mga places na magbabaha. Cool, no? Meron ka ng flood map. So yung Perma Garden is safe from flooding. But here, yung mga purple areas, you will see, ito yung legend natin. Saan ba yung legend nito? I can't find the legend. Anyway, itong mga purple areas ay mga nagbabaha. So you can see it's along the coastlines and the rivers, the tributaries. The Perma Garden is safe from that. Sa volcanic, when we click, marami siyang options, no? Location ng potentially active volcanoes, ituturo niya yung distance. And then for earthquake, you will see trenches, fissures, landslides, and so on. So it's up to you kung ano yung importance sa inyo, especially to those na nasa Cavite, kung meron man, malapit kayo sa Taal, this will be useful for you. To those whose sites are near the West Valley Fault, this will be useful to you. Actually, sa Manila, maraming paggagamitan tong Hazard Hunter. Okay, so mamaya na tayo mag question and answer, but if you have time to explore, no, go to this site, check nyo na yung assessment report ng inyong farm or ng house, no, and see what are the hazards that you will experience in the future. So you can design around these warnings, no, or these assessments. So that's the first step. Okay. The next one sa ating presentation ay, wait lang, naka-on yung radyo ko. Okay. The next one is Google Earth and Google Earth Pro. So let's go first to Google Earth. Ito yung Google Earth, no? Ito yung online version. So maganda siya kasi meron siyang 3D view like this one. Kinlik ko lang itong nasa lower right-hand corner, 2D, 3D, okay? So for the 3D view, you just hold yung shift key sa keyboard nyo. Just hold it and then i-turn nyo yung inyong mouse cursor to get a 3D view of things. No? So for this one, we're looking at Mount Makiling. Ayan. Kasi pag hindi nyo hinold yung shift key, hindi siya magta-turn, no? Gaganyan-ganyan lang siya. So you have to hold the shift key to see everything in 3D. Okay, yan. So that's the online tool. It's good for visualizing your area. Now let's go to Google Earth Pro. Okay, stop share ko muna. And I will show you something, no, na maybe you know already, but hopefully hindi pa para may maituturo pa ako. Okay, let's share this. Share screen. Okay, Google Earth Pro. Can you see the Google Earth Pro na? Yan. No, so some of you know have already downloaded this. This is free. Okay, I will give links later or tomorrow no, kung saan nyo ita-download kasi there are options. You can use the online version for free. Meron din tong mobile app version. It's also free. And this is the Google Earth Pro desktop version. It's also free. So the difference with this app or software, no, it has more measuring tools. It has advanced measuring tools compared to the online version. So for this example, we will look for elevation data, no? Elevation yung inyong taas at baba, yung shape. We will look at the slope also, minimum maximum slope, minimum maximum elevation. This is crucial information for permaculture designers kasi no, when areas are sloping, no, doon tayo nagde-design saan ilalagay yung ponds, yung ating swales. Kaya marami tayong pwedeng ma-design when areas are sloping. So let's take this example of the perma garden. Okay. before pala the elevation, I want you to see yung historical imagery function niya. So punta po tayo dito sa taas. Kung nakikita nyo tong clock icon dito sa taas, that's called historical imagery. When you click that, it will give you a view of the landscape sa different periods of time. So right now, we're looking at April 2024. So you just move this, etong sa taas, you see March 2024, Feb 2024, and mag-change yan. And then you can even go back, no? Ito, 2009, 2010, okay? So if you need historical data, what your landscape looked like before, this is especially good, no, kung may nabili kayong property na, let's say, Manggahan dati or Nyogan, di ba? Di natin alam yung history niya. So dito magandang hanapin, no? Ano ba yung itsura nung property ko 10 years ago, 5 years ago? And then compare it with what it looks like right now. Okay, so this is the latest one. This is last month lang, March 2024. Kasi meron tayong regular satellites na dumadaan taking photos of our landscape. So this is the most recent. Now, dito I drew a line from the Perma Garden to Mount Makiling over here. So I will show you how to use the elevation tool. Yung simple muna. Okay. I'll turn off the historical imagery and go to the ruler tool here sa upper side. Show ruler, and then go to the line tab, itong line. Okay. Now you have the map length here. You can set it to meters or kilometers. Let's set it to kilometers kasi mahaba itong i-measure natin. Now, once that's ready, it's already in kilometers. I will click yung Perma Garden over here and draw a line towards Mount Makiling. Okay, you see the line, the yellow line? And then I save this information. So it says it's 3.99 kilometers from the Perma Garden to Mount Makiling. Then you save it and then give it a name. So let's give it a name, practice. And click OK. Now you have this straight line from OU to Makiling. Now go to the left-hand side corner and select practice and then right-click it and then go to show elevation profile. Now, this is the information that you will see. Kita nyo tong graph sa baba? Yan ang itsura ng inyong landscape. And as you move your mouse, may arrow na sumusunod dito sa map sa taas. Makikita nyo kung nasa na yan. See? So you have an idea of the shape, the contour, the elevation of your area. You have also details here sa taas. Maximum slope 52.6%, average slope 7.3%, okay? You have distance, elevation gain and loss. So makikita niyo yan. So you just scroll your mouse like this and makikita niyo, oh, ito mataas tong area na to. Okay? So another way to do this is a line, no? Go to the ruler again and go to path. Ang path naman, pwede tayo mag-trace ng specific features on the landscape. Now for this one, you hold the shift key. You don't need to hold the shift key. No, sorry. Just click din pala. Click and follow this path. Right now, I'm following the path ng isang river going to Mount Makiling. So let's trace lang this roughly. Kasi gusto ko specifically makita kung ano yung itsura ng river na to in relation to my site. And then click save. And then same process. Okay, name it. Go to the path measure and then show elevation profile. And here, you have the elevation data again. Okay? So may makikita kayong mga depressions dyan, yung mga palubog, yung pataas. So makikita nyo kung ano yung mga bumpy na areas dyan. Okay? Actually, this elevation information, no, it does not only work sa mga large scale, no, even sa small scale makikita nyo. So try natin sa small scale, no, since most of us have small scale projects. Let's go to the perma garden over here. So this is the perma garden. Now let's go to the ruler again. Click line, and then when we're measuring small areas, we only use meters. Okay, so use meters, and then from here to the road to here dito sa river sa creek area, and then save. Click OK, and then same process, show elevation. So see, this is a small area pero meron ka ng data. Now, itong nasa gitna, no, yung nasa gitna ng building, no, ito yung sinasabi nilang nagbabaha na area. So kita agad. Okay, so yan, kita natin kasi nagbabaha. So sa area na to, we were able to make ponds and swales kasi when it rains, no, alam namin yung tubig from the creek over here overflows and goes here. Okay, so after this, no, I'll give you a chance to play around at home, no, with this elevation technique, no, just looking for the elevation and just drawing lines and looking at this kind of data. It will help you a lot to know the landscape. Okay? So okay ba? Okay ba so far?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm sharing this kasi hindi kasi to tinuturo sa school. yung gentong tools, no? Kasi even meron ako mga ina-advisean ngayon ng mga grad students, no? Di nila alam yung tools na yon. Which is sad kasi libre to. So ngayon pa lang ituturo ko na sa inyo. Para even you can help others, di ba? Okay, let's go to the next tool. Sorry, overview lang tayo kasi kulang tayo sa time. Okay. I'll share again my screen. We have 2 tools left. Okay, currently may mga past students ako ng PSDT na tinuturuan nito. So I want you to familiarize yourself with this. The app is called GPS Logger app. So it's available on Google Play. I think merong counterpart to sa App Store ng Apple. Pero hindi GPS Logger app yung pangalan niya. GPS Logger something. Search ko nga. Ni-lecture ko din to kanina kasi tapos maraming naka-iPhone dun sa audience. So ang katumbas niya sa iPhone ay MyTracks, the GPS Logger. MyTracks, the GPS Logger. So ang tuturo ko ngayon, dahil Android ako, yung GPS Logger. So what this does is it helps you locate elements or components in your landscape and then view it on the map. No? So may integration siya with Google Earth. So when you open this, you don't need internet. You only need to open your GPS or yung location ng inyong phone. So when you're standing still, may lalabas dyan na latitude and longitude. So that's your position on Earth, no? That's your what we call absolute location. It's very exact. And then lalabas dyan yung time ngayon, yung current time, parang may watch ka dyan. You have the satellites there, yung mga nagtatrack ng movement mo. And you have data like altitude, direction, yung speed ng paglalakad mo, and yung accuracy level, no? So ibig sabihin, medyo off to ng 9 meters, no? So meron siyang ganong margin of error. Since this is not a real GPS device, this is only an app. It's using the phone's GPS, internal GPS. Okay, let's walk over some features, no? So we have the GPS fix. When you open the app, ito yung unang lalabas. And you have your current information here. And dito sa baba, meron tayong 3 important buttons here. We have etong pause, start and pause to. When you start walking or start your mission, you press this. And then we have the annotate button. It means when we annotate, when we see something on the landscape while walking, pwede natin i-label yon, no? So, kunyari may nakita kang mango tree, press annotate, and then type mango tree, and then resume walking. Okay, and annotate as many elements in your landscape. And then when you're done, you just click stop. Okay, so this is the GPS fix tab na discuss na natin yan. When you're walking, when you're doing the mission, you have this track tab, no? Yung track points, yung ibig sabihin, yung gano'n na karami yung tinag mo using your GPS. Okay? Yung annotations, gano'n na kadami yung nilabel mo. Kami ni Ate Jane, yung ating gardener sa Perma Garden, ganito namin dinocument yung mga tanim namin. So we go from plant to plant, plot to plot, and then we label each, no? Tinatapat namin yung phone as closely as possible to the plant. Okay, then tsaka namin i-annotate. And then nakalagay diyan yung duration ng whole mission nyo, gaano nakalayo yung nalalakad nyo, and so on. Okay, ito yung annotation. So while walking, you annotate points on the go. And then in the end, when you stop the mission, ganito po yung maging itsura niya. So para lang siyang squiggly lines. Okay, so wala siyang context. As kung nakagamit na kayo ng Strava or other exercise apps pag nagra-running or walking, 'di ba parang tinitrace niya kung saan ka pumupunta. So para din siyang ganyan. Pero we have to make sense of these lines. So ang itsura po niyan ay available siya as what we call a KML file or a keyhole markup language file. Ibig sabihin po nito, pwede natin siyang buksan sa Google Earth. Okay? Now, when you have Google Earth on your phone, the Google Earth app, no, not the Google Earth Pro, you will just press itong I button over here. When you press the I button, GPS Logger will go to Google Earth and show you kung ano yung mga inannotate mo on the landscape. So may instant map ka na agad ng inyong landscape. The labels, the everything. This is especially useful when you're tracing yung property boundaries nyo, when you want to put on the map yung mga trees na meron kayo, you're doing inventory. So this is very useful. Ganito po yung itsura niya sa mapa. Ganyan. Okay, so ganyan yung itsura niya. Once na nasa Google Earth na siya, or Google Earth app or Google Earth Pro, kita na yung mga nilakad nyo, tas yung mga labels nyo lalabas. Para po siyang ganito. Hindi ito yung example. Wait. Papakita ko ng isa pang example. Yung may labels na. I have a few minutes pa. May last one pa tayo. Pero gusto ko pakita yung... Kanina kasi I did a lecture on using GPS Logger app to geotag community cats. Marami kasi kaming pusa sa campus sa UP Los Baños. And we're on a mission, no, to trace kung ano ba yung roaming range nila or saan sila nagagala. So I taught students how to annotate and track the cats. So ito po yung i-share ko na. Share screen. Okay. Ay, mali. Hindi yan. Ayan, kita nyo po yung may cat. Ayan. Okay. So ganito yung tsura niya. So meron siyang, hindi in-exage ko lang, pero meron siyang points. Yung mga nilabelan nyo, lalabas yan ng ganyan. And ang turo ko kanina sa mga college students, no, when you're doing labeling, you have this, the tracks. Take a photo nung inannotate nyo. Tapos, take a context shot. No? Kasi, baka malimutan nyo pag nag-picture kayo ng malapit na halaman, na annotate nyo, tapos malilimutan nyo later on, ano ba itsura nung area na kung saan ko tinag. So, a close-up of the thing that you are tagging, and then a context shot. Saan mo siya kinunan. Okay, so those three things. So, this will help you later on when you're planning or you just want to see where your elements are, where your landscape elements are on a map. Okay, kasi this will be useful in the future when you start monitoring your landscape. Okay? Sige. let's go to the 15 minutes. Let's go to the last one, yung pinaka-advanced natin. So this is called geonadir.com. So for you who have drones or want to buy drones or are thinking about buying drones, this is the free website for you. Kasi Geonadir is a free online drone image repository and mapping tool. Okay? So actually, this goes hand in hand with your satellite images. Unfortunately kasi ang satellite images natin, hindi ganun kataas ang resolution. Ibig sabihin yung sa Google Earth, pag zoom natin, medyo nadidistort na yung mga details. So sa permaculture kasi gusto natin, kitang-kita natin pag zoom natin. So I will just show you how this works. Okay, I'm using GeoNadir right now to monitor changes sa permagarden ng UPOU. So just yesterday, nag-collect ako ng data doon sa garden. So ito po yung itsura niya. Now, using GeoNadir, this is called an orthomosaic. Or in other words, this is about 45 images stitched together to form one big image. And we can put that in a base map or a satellite map. So pag yan, makikita natin, yan yung satellite map sa background. No? So tingnan niyo po yung difference in resolution, the satellite and the drone image. So we have more resolution. Okay, the other free things that you get sa GeoNadir is first, you get the what we call digital surface model. So makikita mo dun sa iyong landscape, alin yung matataas. Okay, yung matataas is the lighter colors and yung mabababa is the darker colors, no? So this goes hand in hand with your Google Earth Pro, with your elevation data. Kasi here, kita mo na ito matataas na puno to, mas mataas siya sa mga building. Yan, so kita mo na agad. The other one is the digital terrain model naman. So the digital terrain eliminates everything on top of the surface and just looks at the lupa, the land. Okay, so yun lang yung makikita nyo. So makikita nyo dun sa lupa nyo, alin yung matataas, alin yung mabababa. So these are free, the three things, orthomosaic, surface model, and terrain model. Now let's go back to the orthomosaic, no? So this is what's good about GeoNadir kasi if you have a drone, you can take photos like this. Hindi ikaw yung gagawa ng orthomosaic, you just upload it to GeoNadir and they will do everything, the orthomosaic and the models for you. You will receive your outputs siguro in a few minutes or in a few hours, depende kung gaano kadaming pictures yung tinake nyo. And there's a certain technique to get these kinds of pictures, which I will teach siguro next time. But this is the quality of your drone image. I-zoom natin. Mabigat kasi siya yung Okay, so yan. So kitang-kita yung mga latest developments on the landscape. So right now, ginagawa nila itong Mandala Garden. Okay, so kita ko, tapos kita ko nagma-mulch sila dito sa area na ito. Okay, so we can find good detail, no? Actually, you have to know when then to take good photos. It's either early in the morning or late afternoon para walang shadows. This was done mga midday kaya may shadows tayo. I'll show an example na na maganda yung kuha, yung hindi tawag dito, yung hindi masyadong maaraw. Wait lang. I have one sa Quezon. May taga Quezon ba dito? Okay, I'll show you the Quezon dataset. Ito. This is in Tagkawayan, Quezon. Malapit ba to sa inyo, Sandino? Tagkawayan?
Malayo.
Malayo. Sorry. Feeling ko kasi Bicol na to eh. Okay. So this is a 23-hectare reforestation project that I did. So I put this on top of the map or the satellite image, and I will show you incredible detail here. Kasi even the owner of this area has a hard time monitoring reforestation. Sabi ko, take constant drone images and tingnan nyo po yung detail ha. Pag nag-zoom ako, sige, wait natin mag-load. Kita na ako. That's me taking the photos. Okay? You won't see that on a satellite image. And then kita namin yung mga tinatanim nila. Okay? So let's do one more challenge. No? So a challenge was to look for sources of water dito sa area na to. So like what I taught you before, we have the surface model and the terrain model. Let's try the surface model muna. So, kita nyo dito sa side na to, merong dark. Ang ibig sabihin ng dark na yon, depressions on the landscape. So this could be rivers na or creeks. So when you switch to the orthomosaic, sige, wait natin mag-load. And then you zoom, you will see sources of water. You see? So yun yung kung gusto nyong really go hardcore with your designing or help others, no? You can use drones not for travel vlog, but for mapping. Okay, yan. So it's really useful, especially if you're planning on designing large areas na hindi nyo naman mapupuntahan lahat by foot. Okay, kasi with the drone, pwede ka lang, nakaupo ka lang sa isang area, then paliparin mo siya. Okay, so you'll be able to understand your landscape better. Okay, so that's the final one. And if you're interested pa in detailed discussions, you can email me or message me dun sa ating portal, and we can go into detail on how to go about this. Even yung mga projects that I have checked no, na home scale lang, because na tinuruan ko kayo dun sa first part ng lecture na we have to understand the surrounding areas, no? Kasi the surrounding landscapes and ecosystems will also affect you. So when we design, we don't just think about our specific areas, but we also think about our neighbors, the people, the wildlife, and the surrounding natural features and even man-made features. Okay, so I hope no having the knowledge of the existence of these 4 apps, no, mas mabigyan kayo ng magandang outputs for our final project. I think for the final project, Sandino will give them a lots of time, no? Mga 6 weeks yata for designing.
Matagal-tagal yan.
Yeah, mga 6 weeks. So, really, pero after Module 4, meron pa kayong Module 5 eh. Good news is Module 5 walang assignment. Just study there sa Module 5 because that's in preparation for your final project. So, sulit na sulit talaga tong course na to kasi very hands-on kami nila Sandino, nila Bert, no? Kasi gusto namin maging successful kayong lahat sa inyong pagde-design, and itong consulting with us, this continues, no, even after the course, and we ensure na maging successful yung inyong projects. Okay, so any questions from the class? Sige lang po. We have a few minutes pa. Okay, heart reacts. Or may mga bago ba kayong natutunan? Baka kasi alam nyo na eh.
I have a question.
A question, sino to?
Belle, si Annabelle.
Okay, yeah. Bell.
Kailangan pa yung mga mamahalin na drone ang ginagamit for the Junadir app? Or, di ba may mga drone na parang yung maliliit lang, like yung cellphone shape or yung parang
meron tayong mapping drones na binebenta, pero eto may papakita ako. Meron tayong maliliit na drones. Hindi siya pang mapping. So ibig sabihin wala siyang automated mapping feature. Ito po yung itsura niya. Ganyan lang siya kaliit. Kasing laki lang siya ng kamay ko dito. Ayan. Ayan, yung mga maliliit na drones, this is the 249 grams or mini series. Ito yung hindi nyo kailangan ng license. Kasi para lang siyang laruan. Toy grade. Toy grade pero yung capabilities niya is good for mapping. Ang disadvantage lang dito, Bell, sa gantong drone is you have to take the photos manually. Okay, so kumbaga, pag lumipad na ng diretso, picture, 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 picture. Sunod-sunod yan. Para siyang naka-burst. Picture, 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 picture. Pag bumili ka kasi ng mamahaling drones, yung ginagamit ng mga mappers talaga, ano lang yan, magdodrawing lang sila ng square dun sa area, tapos gagawin na ng drone mag-isa yung mapping. Yun yung
Okay.
difference. Kaya mahal yung mga drones na ganun. Ako hindi ko afford yun, so itong maliliit lang yung gamit ko. So, marami tayong small drones. Ang tawag doon ay yung mini series, 249 grams lang. Maghanap kayo na that will fit your budget. Kasi maraming klase to eh. So, meron ako nung pinaka-advanced right now, tapos meron din ako nung pinaka-mura. Kasi, depende sa mission. Pag malaki yung area, ito yung gamit ko. Pag maliit lang, mga 1 hectare and below, yung isa yung gamit ko. Ayun, so, yan. Yung ginamit ko sa pinakita kanina, ito yon. Yung sa Perma Garden. Ito yung gamit ko noon. Yan. Yes, sige. Thank you, Belle. And next si Shelby, sorry.
No problem. Sa akin po more on sa pag-visit po sa garden. Kasi I'm planning to go po mag-visit.
Okay.
Alam po, nag-ask na po ako ng question before. Pero pwede po akong mag-bring ng someone na hindi po student just to see the garden.
Actually, the Perma
Can I
Garden.
bring my dog din po?
You're ano?
Can I bring my dog din po? Opo.
Sige, pero may dogs din kami ha. Friendly ba siya sa ibang
Okay lang
dog?
po. Friendly po
Sige.
yun.
Okay, may community animals kami. So anyway, the Perma Garden is open from Monday to Saturday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. When you go to the guard, look for Ate Jane. Okay, and then sabihin nyo UPOU student kayo. Kasi si Ate Jane is always there kasi siya yung nagdidilig. And then si Ate Jane ay forestry graduate. So if may tanong kayo sa plants, alam niya lahat ng functions at scientific name ng nakatanim doon. And expert organic gardener siya. So actually when people visit, no, hindi na ako kailangan doon eh. Kasi ang ini-explain ko lang yung design process yung diniscuss ko sa inyo. Pero si Ate Jane, if you want to go to the specifics, no, what goes with what, di ba, ano yung, kasi ako lang yung gumawa ng bare bones layout ng garden, the zoning. Pero si Ate Jane yung nag-determine what plants should go there. So, yun yung mga minomonitor namin. And siya na yung nag-experiment what works and what does not work. And also, if you plan to go, you will see sa Perma Garden, bawat isang plot, isang experiment eh. So, yung faculty, students, and staff ng OU, may kanya-kanya silang experiments. So, makikita niyo yun. So, tell us if you want to have your own plot then, since students kayo. You can have, just ask me for the details. You can have a plot there.
Thank you.
Yan, sige Shelby, I hope to see you there then. So, any more questions before we close in 2 minutes? Sige po. Kung wala na po, can we take a photo for documentation? Yeah, let's open our cameras. I hope marami kayong natutunan today. Ayan. Belle, Sandino, Cora, Trisha, ayan, Shelby. Ayan, Ma'am Cora. Nagno-notes. Very good. Si Ma'am Cora nawala.
Ay.
Ma'am, hindi. Video. Picture tayo, picture. Ayan. Nice. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay. Pwede na kayo matulog.
Okay.
Maraming salamat.
Thank you very much po.
See you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.